welcome back to my little channel. Today I've got a doozy for you. Stupidity in its finest. The Vice President and Minister of Internal Affairs of Italy, Matteo Salvini, will probably be charged with kidnapping of migrants. Why? Well, because he won't allow a boat filled with migrants into Italy. And the Office of, Justice, I wanted to say social justice, sorry, is basically looking into the fact on whether he can be charged with kidnapping for not allowing people into the country. Well, isn't kidnapping not allowing people to leave a certain place? But that's just me. Anyway, the migrants were detained on the ship Detaining of the Italian Coast Guard after they picked them up from the ship that basically didn't really was allowed into the country. The ship where they were detained on indeed did not let them debark because they're not welcome in Italy. Fair enough. Still, I see no problem with that. Personally, I would have said, you know what, the Italian Coast Guard should have gone to Libya and just unloaded there. But they were kept on board because they were looking for other places they could go to. Salvini, infamous on his hard stance on migration in Europe, basically demanded that other European countries would accept these refugees, these immigrants, because he refuses to call them refugees. I can understand that. But the other European countries didn't want to take them in. So, if Salvini is to blame for this, is then also not Merkel to blame? How about Rutte? Because they could have taken them in as well, and they didn't. But then again, you could say, yeah, but they didn't detain them. But detainment is a legal act. Governments are allowed to detain people who are breaking the law. Never mind, I'm going back and forth here. Now, many Italians are behind Salvini. Roughly 70% of the Italians say that they agree with Salvini. In the end, Salvini, on a Saturday, allowed the migrants to debark. Eventually, fair enough. Albania and Ireland both agreed to take up 20 of these people, which still leaves 137, but they will stay in Italy. And the Catholic Church will put its arms around them. Not sure if that's a good idea. But here's the thing. By following the law of the land, Mattini basically ordered their Coast Guard to do what the law used to say and officially still says. You detain illegals. And because he did that, they are now thinking about whether they should charge him with kidnapping. Don't want to be rude, but if they actually will do this, then the next step will be to secure the local fishing waters, the local waters, and consider anyone illegally entering your country and therefore your waters as an act of war. So you just bloody well sink the ship, don't you? Seems that he was a lot nicer by actually taking them on board. Well, he didn't personally, obviously, the captain of the ship did. The captain of the ship, Detaining. I'm probably butchering that name. But how come a country's people, a country's government, and common sense agree with each other that, okay, we need to do something about this? We need to stop the influx of illegal immigrants. And at the same time, the country's judicial system is saying, no. Yeah, the law is in your favor, and public opinion is in your favor, and politics is in your favor, but we'll see if we can charge you with kidnapping because we're not in your favor. I hope you now understand why I nearly pronounced them public social justice instead of public justice. Anyway, somehow the migrant crisis, the illegal immigrant crisis in Europe is not close to an end. And Italy is finding it hard to protect its borders, and the European Union is finding it hard to assist Italy in any way. Personally, I'm thinking this can only get more dirty. I really hope that we go back to the rule of law. And that rule of law would mean that we go back to Fort Europa. You want to be a refugee in this country? You follow the paths taken by the people who ask for asylum. You're trying to get yourself into the country illegally? You're an illegal. Illegals are detained. It's not that difficult, people. Anyway, I might sound very anti-foreigner, but I would like to remind people that Italy is not my country. People in Italy are foreigners in my country. If they want to come here, there are rules for them to follow. The same is true for people from Canada and Mexico going into the United States. There are rules for them to follow if you want to legally enter another country. So why is it normal for people to do this, to legally enter a country, until the moment that they decided they want to enter the country, but they aren't allowed in? Then it's all of a sudden normal to illegally enter the country? Can someone please explain to me why this should be accepted at all? Anyway, this has been a nice little ramble. Like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Criticism is more than welcome. If you disagree with me, I would love to hear why. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm not saying you're wrong. I would love to hear why. Anyway, see you all next time.